Moving on, different types of communications. To make the conversation more fruitful between the stakeholders, the project manager, what he has to do is that he must understand what different types of communications are available. So, as we see on the screen here, there are just three types of communication. First thing is the one-way communication, second is the two-way communication, and third is the information radiators. I think we have touched a bit about what this one-way communication is and what two-way communication is, but just for the people who have not seen the videos before, one-way communication, it's nothing but the knowledge sharing, the status updates, the project requirement updates, or the lectures. Some consultants are there to provide knowledge transfer sessions. So the communication here is always one way. There is one speaker, giving away information to one or more listeners. So the two-way communication is when both the parties act as sender and receiver. Right? One person sends some information and second person responds to that information. Right? Some email exchanges, for example. These are the types of two-way communications. Or in the brainstorming sessions or in the technical discussions, the communication goes both ways. Right? So this is not just flow of information in one direction, but two directions. They are the two-way communications. So the more focus has to be now given to the information radiators. What are these information radiators? This is a new term which we have not learned so far. So just learn it for the sake of exam at least. Also important as a project manager, if you want to succeed as a project manager, information radiators are a great tool, a visual representation which is displayed either physically or digitally. The main target of these information radiators is to distribute the knowledge, give away knowledge transfer for free. Of course, nothing is for free, but it's like even if somebody has not asked for this information, just by looking at these information radiators, the conversation about that topic starts happening. What can be the example? For example, you are creating a smartwatch, right? So all the visual features, all the technical details of this smartwatch, if they are displayed on a huge life-size chart and they are displayed on a huge, beautiful beam in one of your office. So you are working in a smartwatch making company, and this all the features and all the technical details about how this works, how that button works, how this button works, what is the latest Bluetooth technology, right? What special features it has. If all of these features and how the technical details of the watch, if they are all mentioned on the chart and displayed, it attracts a lot of stakeholders, right? So whoever is passing by that wall, they tend to talk about this. So, or for example, if you are working for a car company, consider a car is displayed in the front of your reception, right? So a brand new car with all the top class features, the real product is displayed there. So even that can be considered as this information radiator. So similarly, for people who are working as mechanical engineers, a cross section of your engine maybe, right? So a vehicle engine that can be positioned. And so all these are very nice examples of information radiators. Right? I think you get the point. Moving on, boosting the engagement. See, how can a project manager enhance the engagement? So we have learned a few techniques until now, for sure, but with a few more additional soft skills, like activities, the engagement of the stakeholder is going to get boosted a lot. The soft skills are like active listening, ability to resolve the conflicts, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is very important. The drive of the engagement, it gets better. If you talk about the activities to boost the engagement, they are like the agile workshops, for example. What are agile workshops? Basically, the retrospective meetings. So these retrospective meetings are nothing but agile workshops. So and some handy activities like brainstorming. All these help as booster activities. Okay, moving on. The two models of team development. I think it is important that you learn these two models by heart. At least one of these models will come as a question in the exam. So what are these models? These models are nothing but the skill levels of a stakeholder. So what is Dreyfus model? Dreyfus model talks nothing about what is your skill level right now. If I use the pen, if a person is a novice, like he's a very beginner, he doesn't understand anything, he just came to learn that new skill, he is called the novice. So the engagement level of the stakeholder or the skill level of that stakeholder is currently novice. What is the next best level? He is a advanced beginner. Now he understands the things, so he's no more a beginner. And then he becomes competent. Next stage of skill level is he is competent, right? So he is trying to compete with his knowledge with his fellow stakeholders. He is the competent guy. He is already aware of all the things that are happening. Now he's competent enough to do his job. And then comes the next level, that is proficient, right? So he's aware of all the knowledge. He's aware of the way of the organization. He's understanding the history of the product, how it has, how the feature is seen there. And finally, the expert. Expert is somebody who can actually break the rules, right? So he is the one who can do things differently. He already understands the ways. Now he is also capable to give an alternate solution to the problem, right? So he is the expert. So this levels, the incremental levels, is nothing but the Dreyfus model, right? So the question might be like, okay, you are currently here, what is the next step? So you can tell the next step of skill level is going to be proficient. So just an example, if we talk about Shu Ha Ri model, what is it? Shu means a person who is always obeying the rules, right? So he's a new guy, he's always obedient, and he always obeys everybody around him, and he obeys the rules of the game. Ha is a stage where he slowly starts to move away from all these rules and guidelines because he is now expert. Things starts to come to him automatically. He doesn't have to follow that particular process. When I say move away from the rules, don't misunderstand me in a negative way. He or she, they are actually trying to do things automatically. They don't have to think before you drive. Consider an expert driver, right? So as an expert driver, she doesn't have to think, okay, now I have to shift to a second gear or a third gear. They directly, involuntarily, the hand goes towards the shift lever, and then the car moves ahead in that particular speed. Similarly, Re is finding your own routes. Remember, we talked about Dreyfus model, and he's an expert. So Re can also be a similar explanation of the same. All right, I think with that said, we are closing this topic. I know this was a long topic, but it was important because we have to set the agile way of understanding. So I think you have learned something new here.